They say that at a lavish Beverly Hills party in 1962, President John F. Kennedy quietly walked up to Barbara Eden, the young rising star who had all of Hollywood watching. Amid the jazz music and crystal lights, he slipped a small piece of paper into the pocket of her fur coat. On it was just one line, and a private White House phone number. Barbara never called. Years later, when asked about it, she simply smiled and said, "Maybe I should have. I still regret not doing it. No one knows if that note ever truly existed." But Hollywood has never lacked stories that live somewhere between fact and fantasy, where power, desire, and secrets always walk hand in hand. And this is just one of the many untold whispers surrounding the woman who once made the world believe in magic inside a bottle. And stay until the end of the video, because sometimes the truest things are hidden in whispers. And if you love stories behind Hollywood's golden glow, don't forget to subscribe. The magic isn't over yet. Barbara Eden, born on August 23, 1931, in Tucson, Arizona, was the petite woman who made the whole world believe in magic inside a bottle. In 1965, Hollywood was going through a transformation, and the glamorous movie queens of the 1950s were slowly fading into the background. Amid that changing landscape, an unassuming name, Barbara Eden, was unexpectedly chosen to star in a brand new sitcom, I Dream of Jeannie. No one could have predicted that the petite woman with bright eyes and a warm smile would become pure magic. Just a few episodes in, audiences across America fell in love with the image of the woman in the sparkling pink outfit, tilting her head slightly and saying, "Yes, master." Barbara Eden, the woman in the bottle, became an icon of the decade, both irresistibly sensual and disarmingly innocent. But few knew that during the entire first season of Jeannie, Barbara was actually pregnant. Rumor has it the production team quietly kept it hidden through clever camera angles, soft focus shots, and carefully tailored costumes. It was a secret wrapped in layers of satin, one she wouldn't publicly confirm until many years later. And perhaps that's exactly what made Jeannie and Barbara forever magical. Before the spotlight found her, Barbara Eden was just a young actress trying to find her place in the vast world of Hollywood. During a film shoot in 1958, she met Michael Ansara, a Syrian-born actor who had appeared in Star Trek and Buck Rogers in the 25th century. A few years older, calm, worldly, and carrying the charm of a true gentleman, he made Barbara feel instantly safe. They fell in love quickly, got married, and built a modest home together in Los Angeles. In 1965, they welcomed their first child, Matthew, a boy Barbara called the most beautiful gift I've ever received. At that moment, she believed she had everything: a career, love, and a perfect family. But in Hollywood, when the spotlight shines on one person, it often casts a shadow on the other. Rumor has it that once I Dream of Jeannie became a phenomenon, Michael began to feel overshadowed. Some of his co-stars claimed he grew distant and silent whenever Barbara's name appeared in the papers. No one can say for sure whether that's true or just whispered gossip behind the scenes, but many believe that's when the first cracks began to form in what once seemed like a perfect love story. What do you think about this? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss the hidden stories behind Hollywood's brightest lights. In the mid-1960s, I Dream of Jeannie became a nationwide sensation. From 1965 to 1970, Barbara Eden was everywhere, on magazine covers and television ads and in living rooms across America. Her radiant smile, pink silk harem pants, and sweet, airy voice made her the woman America dreamed of. But behind the spotlight, Barbara's private world was beginning to fracture. Endless filming schedules and non-stop promotional tours kept her away from home for months at a time. In 1971, just as life seemed to settle down, she suffered a miscarriage and lost her second child. The grief sent her into a deep depression. Yet, she still had to smile for the cameras and bring Jeanie to life as if nothing had ever happened. People who worked on the set whispered that after filming Wrapped each day, Barbara often lingered long after everyone else had gone. She would sit quietly on a small chair, still in her glittering Jeanie costume, staring blankly as the studio lights slowly faded. It was like she was afraid to go back to reality, one crew member once said. And perhaps in those moments, Barbara was no longer Jeanie at all, just a fragile woman trying to find herself in the middle of a magic that had quietly slipped away. Before becoming the woman in the bottle, Barbara Eden had the chance to work alongside Elvis Presley in the 1960 film Flaming Star. At the time, Elvis was at the peak of his fame, a global icon, while Barbara was just a young actress full of potential. Under the blazing Texas sun on set, the two quickly developed an unexpected chemistry. Elvis was charming yet gentlemanly, Barbara graceful and quietly confident. She once said, "Elvis was a true gentleman, always treating everyone with a level of respect that was rare in Hollywood." Their friendship intrigued the press, but Barbara chose silence, protecting both their images. Still, the rumors never stopped. Some say that on their last day of filming, Elvis quietly gave Barbara a small ring, as a symbol of friendship, or maybe something more. No one ever saw the ring. But years later, during a televised interview when asked about Elvis, Barbara gently smiled and absent-mindedly touched the ring finger on her left hand. The moment lasted only a few seconds, just long enough for people to wonder if she had ever truly let go of that memory. After 16 years together in 1974, Barbara Eden and Michael Ansara officially divorced. The separation was quiet. No public fights, no scandals, just two people who had once loved each other deeply, now standing on opposite sides of memory. Barbara once said, "I thought it was the right decision, until it was too late." After the marriage ended, she threw herself into work, trying to keep Jeannie's bright smile alive in front of the camera, even as her heart was breaking behind the scenes. But time never truly erased what they shared. Nearly 4 decades later, when Michael passed away in 2013, Barbara broke down on live television and whispered, "He was the love of my life." One close friend claimed that inside the drawer of Barbara's vanity sat an old ivory envelope and a faded wedding photo. Inside the envelope was a letter Michael had once written. "I will always be your protector, no matter where I am." No one can say for sure if she truly kept it, but every time his name was mentioned, Barbara would pause for a few seconds before speaking, as if, in that quiet space, she could still hear his voice echoing through the years. In 2001, Hollywood was struck by heartbreaking news that left many in silence. Matthew Ansara, the only son of Barbara Eden, passed away from a drug overdose at the age of 35. He had been her greatest pride, the reason she managed to stay strong through every loss. When the news reached her, Barbara was preparing for a television project. She collapsed, unable to comprehend that the boy who once held her hand on the red carpet was now just a memory. In one interview, her voice cracked as she said, "There isn't a day I don't think of him. Not a single night I don't hear him calling me in my dreams." The pain never truly healed, but she learned to live with it, with the quiet strength of a mother who had lost everything. Some say that for nearly a year after Matthew's death, Barbara drove to the cemetery every morning at dawn. She would bring a single white rose, sit by his grave for hours, and softly tell him about her day, as if he were still there, just asleep. No one ever took a photo, and no one dared to ask. But every time Barbara spoke his name, people could see it in her eyes, an entire ocean quietly breaking inside her. After her first marriage ended, Barbara Eden believed she would never open her heart again. But then a man appeared, Charles Figuert, a successful Chicago businessman, charming and confident. They married and left behind the noise of Hollywood to start a new life. Far from the spotlight, far from gossip. For the first few years, Barbara truly believed she had found peace. She cooked, gardened, and cared for their home, living what seemed like the simple, quiet dream so many women wished for. But slowly, the darker side of the marriage revealed itself. Charles became addicted to alcohol, then to cocaine. The tenderness disappeared, replaced by unpredictable anger. After 5 years of enduring it, Barbara walked away from everything and returned to Hollywood with a heart full of scars. Some say Barbara left Chicago on a rainy night, carrying only a few suitcases and a single photo of her son, Matthew. She left no note. No one saw her off. A close friend later said, "She left everything behind, except the past." No one knows where Barbara went that night. All they know is that when the sun rose, she had once again chosen to live, and chosen silence. On screen, Barbara Eden and Larry Hagman were the perfect duo. He was the handsome, stoic pilot. She was the mischievous, sweet Jeanie. Their chemistry on I Dream of Jeannie made millions of viewers believe in one of Hollywood's most iconic friendships. Larry would go on to achieve massive fame as J.R. Ewing in Dallas, but to Barbara, he was always Tony Nelson, the co-star she adored and sometimes struggled to keep up with. She once said, "Larry was a true genius, but also a restless soul." Behind the charm and the laughter, Larry was a man of contradictions. Brilliant, funny, yet volatile and unpredictable. Some say that during the filming of Jeannie, Larry often smoked marijuana in his dressing room, and on one infamous day, even chased a group of visiting nuns off set with an axe in a fit of rage. The story spread all over Hollywood, though it was never confirmed. When asked about it, Barbara gave a soft, sad smile and said, "Larry wasn't a bad man. He just had dark days." No matter how wild or chaotic things got, Barbara never blamed him, perhaps because she understood that in their world, great talent and deep loneliness often walk hand in hand, in a place where magic exists only on screen. At the height of her career, Barbara Eden was one of the most desired women in Hollywood. She carried the timeless beauty of the 1950s while embodying the modern, free-spirited allure of the 1960s. Famous men, from singer Tom Jones to actor Clint Eastwood, openly admired her. Though she appeared at hundreds of high-profile events, Barbara maintained an image of grace and elegance, never swept up in public scandals or sensational romances. She understood that in a world where every glance carries weight, silence is often the most powerful form of intrigue. But beneath all the glitz and glamour, one particular rumor never faded. Some say that at a private Beverly Hills party in 1962, President John F. Kennedy quietly approached Barbara and slipped a small note into the pocket of her fur coat. On it, a single line and the private phone number of the White House. Barbara never confirmed the story, but in one interview, she softly admitted, "I regret not calling. No one knows if it really happened, but in Hollywood, some tales become legend, where the line between truth and myth can be as thin as a smile." After all the heartbreak and loss, Barbara Eden finally found her peaceful harbor with John Eichholz, a man who loved her for who she truly was, not for Jeanie. For more than 3 decades, they have lived a quiet life, planting flowers, caring for their dogs, and enjoying the serenity far from the bright lights of Hollywood. People say that inside their cozy home, Barbara still keeps a small white wooden box. Inside it are a few letters, a photograph of Michael and Sarah, and the bracelet given to her by Elvis Presley. No one has ever seen it, but a close friend once said, "Barbara doesn't forget anyone. She just chooses silence." At 90 years old, Barbara Eden remains the world's beloved Jeanie. not because of magic, but because she makes people believe that happiness is real. What do you think? Was Jeanie the role that made her immortal, or the invisible bottle that kept her locked away for a lifetime? Leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more true stories and the whispers that were never told.